How many times have you asked Claude for something and the answer came back not quite right? So you tell it what's wrong and ask again. Still not right. So you ask one more time. That's a loop, and you are the one running it. But the people who build these tools have stopped doing that. I don't prompt Claude anymore. I have loops running that prompt Claude and figuring out what to do. My job is to write loops. That's Boris Cherny, head of Cloud Code at Anthropic, and he said this back in June. So he's the one who made the tool and he's saying he doesn't prompt it anymore. Then what he is doing? He is writing loops. And this idea got a name in about a week, loop engineering. So give your few minutes to this video. I'm gonna tell you what a loop actually is, the four parts a real one needs, and how much of this is new versus a new name for something you are already doing. And don't worry, if you have never built an agent before, we are starting from zero. So let's get started. First, let's understand what an agent is, because this word gets thrown around a lot and it's much simpler than it sounds. A model can't do anything by itself. It writes text. That's all it can do. It can't read your file. It can't run your test. It can't open a browser. So we give it tools. Tools are just small functions that the model is allowed to ask for. The model asks, your code runs the function, the result goes back to the model. Now put that in a while loop. And that's it. That's an agent, 6 steps, a model, some tools, and a loop. Now look at that break line because that's where the loop stops. And when does it stop? It stops the moment the model stops asking for tools. Read that again. The loop ends when the model feels done, not when the work is done. And that's the problem we are going to fix. Let me explain this with something from your own home. That loop is a heater. You switch a heater on and it makes heat. That's all. It has no idea whether the room got warm, it has no target, and it has nothing to measure with. Now, a thermostat is a completely different machine. A thermostat has a target, let's say 20 degrees. It has a thermometer, so it knows where the room is right now. It acts, then it checks, then it acts again, and it keeps going until the room is at 20. So, your agent loop should be a thermostat, not a heater. In simple words, it's a control loop. It's much closer to the thermostat on your wall than to a chat window. Now, once you see it this way, you can see what those 6 lines are missing: a target, a thermometer, and some memory of what it already tried. Now, go back to what you were doing at the start of this video. You had a target. You knew what a right answer looked like, right? The checking you did with your own eyes, and you remembered what you would already asked, so you didn't ask the same thing twice. So you were already doing all three. You just never called it a loop. Now, is loop engineering a new idea? Not really. The parts are old. You have been doing them by hand for years. What's new is that you can hand all three over to a system now and stop pressing enter yourself. Okay, so now let's build those parts one by one. Three of them I just listed. The fourth one comes at the end. So the first part is a goal you can check. Now remember, at the start you knew what a right answer looked like, but that was inside your head and your loop can't see inside your head. So you have to write that target down as something a computer can check without asking the model. Sounds obvious. Try writing one. Fix the bug is not a stop condition, but this test passes is one. Make it faster is not a stop condition, but this benchmark finishes under 2 seconds is one. See what changed. Judgment came out of it. You run something, you get true or false, and nobody's opinion is involved. That's your target temperature. And one important thing, if you sit down and you can't write a testable stop condition, that's not a failure. That's your answer. Your task probably shouldn't be a loop at all. I will come back to this at the end. Now, the second part. The loop has to check its own work against that target, and this is where it usually goes wrong. The obvious move is to ask the same agent, did you do that correctly? Don't. It will say yes. Why? Because it's the same model carrying the same assumptions that just did the work. It already thinks it did a good job. So you are asking it to argue with itself. In simple words, it's like checking your own answer sheet. You will always pass yourself. So, what people do instead is use a separate checker. One agent does the work, a different agent checks it. And one important thing here, the checker gets its own fresh instructions. It never sees the reasoning that produced the work. It only sees the work. Why? Because a fresh checker catches things the first one is blind to. It never picked up the first one's blind spots. So remember this one. A loop without a checker is not a loop. It's a heater with extra steps. Now the third part. So your loop runs today, it tries some things and it finishes. You run it again tomorrow and it starts from zero. Same dead ends, same wasted attempts. So a real loop writes things down. What it tried, what passed, what's still open. And it's not a database. It's not some big infrastructure. It's a markdown file. The loop reads it when it starts, updates it when it finishes, and tomorrow morning it picks up where yesterday stopped. So, why do we need this? Two reasons. First, your loop stops repeating its own failures, so it can run for hours or overnight and still know where it got to. Second, you can open that file and read in plain English what your loop has been doing while you were asleep. And if something is running unattended, that file is your only window into it. Now, the fourth part, and for this one, go back to part 1 for a second. In part 1, you gave your loop an exit for when it's done. But a loop needs two exits, one for done and one for stuck. Most loops only ever get the first one. The usual attempt is a turn limit, stop after 10 rounds. It works, but it's blunt. Because some errors are feedback, but some errors are walls. A failing test is feedback, that's information. The loop should read the error and try something else. But a missing API key is a wall. No amount of retrying is going to produce that key. And that's your agent spending your money on the same broken step at 3 in the morning. So sort your failures into two buckets. Recoverable, keep going. Fatal, take the second exit. And whatever it can't handle has to land somewhere you will see. A file, an inbox, a ticket. Not swallowed quietly. So that's all about the four parts. Now let's put them together and see how one real loop looks. A schedule starts a run, the loop finds work, each piece of work gets its own isolated workspace, then it drafts, checks, and ships whatever passes. Anything it can't handle goes to a human, and the state file records all of it. Now, the tools have their own names for these work trees, subagents, connectors. Those names will change, but the shape won't change, and the shape is what you should learn. And see what you did here. You designed this once, you didn't prompt a single step of it. Every part lives in the system around the model, not in the wording, and that's why it needed a new name. Now, let me be honest with you about this. So, what's new here? These pieces now ship inside the tools. 2 years ago, you would have built every one of them yourself, and prompting didn't go anywhere. You still write prompts inside every one of those agents. They just stopped being the interesting part of your job. Now, the limits. It doesn't make the model smarter, same model, better system around it. And it doesn't take you out of the picture. Confused? Don't worry, let me explain. By now, the word loop is doing three different jobs. Those six steps, the system you built around them, and you. So, verification is still your job. You can automate the checking, but somebody has to decide what correct means, and that somebody is you. The bottleneck moved. Before it was writing the thing, now it's proving it works. One last thing, and this one is important. Don't loop everything. For a one off job, just open a session and do it. You will be faster. Loops are worth the trouble on work that's repetitive or long running or that you want happening while you are not there. And only when you can write that testable stop condition. If you can't write the stop condition, don't build the loop. Same thing if you have never built an agent at all, don't start with a loop. Start with one agent first, get it working end to end. On Coursera, there is a course from Vanderbilt AI Agents and Agentic AI with Python. Remember those 6 steps I showed you near the start? In that course, you build that loop yourself, piece by piece. And it doesn't lock you into a framework, it teaches you the shape, so it still works when the tool names change. You only need basic Python. No machine learning background is required. The link is in the description. So that's all about loop engineering. A goal you can check, something separate that does the checking, a file that remembers, and a second exit for when it's stuck. That's a thermostat instead of a heater. And see, none of it was about the model. It's all the system you built around it. I hope now you understood. If you have any doubts, feel free to ask me in the comment section. I would like to help you. Thanks for watching. A few links in this video are affiliate links. If you purchase through them, I may earn a small commission at no additional cost to you. I only recommend resources I trust and find valuable.